I'm going to call the meeting to order. Everybody's in attendance today, and we're going to pause to seek guidance. Everybody's got the agenda before them. Is there any additions or deletions? Do you want to put something in camera? I'm just going to put down doctors. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? All in favor? Aye. There is no delegation or presentation tonight, so we're going to move into the approval of the minutes for August the 13th.
I move approval of the minutes for August 13th, 2018.
Do we have a seconder?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. We have the CAO report. Did you have a chance to review the report? Is there any questions for the CAO? So, unfinished business. Oh yeah, skip that one. Is there any unfinished business in the minutes of August 13th? No. Okay. Are there any questions for the CAO regarding her report? You've had a chance to look at the department reports as well. Are there any questions?
I have one question for Linda. Sorry, I was just trying to find it here. Was to talk about when you went down to talk about the internet? You guys had a meeting down there. What was East Link proposing? They were going to do, like, did they have a timeline or?
No, there wasn't anything specific. They were just putting up some potential projects that they.
Going forward through.
No, they're not that they would be interested in partnering with.
Okay.
So it was more very high level, like, and they were going to provide us with some more information, but they had worked out, areas where they saw a concentration of properties, but it wasn't a plan to go forward. It was that if we were successful in getting funding, and they applied to, an expression of interest, these were the areas that they were looking at. And I had also asked them to look at Digby Neck and the island, so I don't think since our last meeting there hasn't been any other information that has come forward. So I'm assuming there's going to be meetings with Bell as well, very similar to what they could do for us. But they weren't projects that they had planned, but if we were interested as the municipal group to partner, that was some of the costs that they had. And I think when we have a bylaw and policy meeting, I can go to my notes and give you an idea what those costs were. And I think I may have, you weren't here.
No, I missed that.
At that last meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe the bylaw will just have a chance to talk and go over it. Is there a way, like, to have a meeting with East Link or Bell, or to see what we can do for a project? Because I guess my question is if they're talking wire line to the doors.
That's what they're interested in doing.
East
Link is talking about wire to the doors.
We can partner with them in just wireless things. We can get it to Digby Neck, we can get it to the islands, we can get it in different places.
So two things. One, Digby Neck wasn't one of their lists, and we're not, as a council, my direction has been to work with the other municipalities as a unit, not individually. So.
Do you think that that's a possibility that maybe we'll want to do both things? Or maybe a little pile A and a little pile B? Like, I think that, if there's opportunities, I'd like to know if we have the flexibility to take it.
It isn't something that they were offering to the group. There isn't a planned project. The group had received funding. They had projects in municipality, Yarmouth and Barrington, Argyle, and ourselves. So we've been part of the team, and that's the direction I'm following until council directs me differently.
And the group, the new waterfront development group, they were there at that meeting?
not the meeting with Eastlink, no.
Okay, this is something different, I thought they were all there.
No, this was just the CAOs
Okay,
from those municipalities I just mentioned, and Eastlink.
okay.
No feeling of urgency then, to
By whom?
get, the local area wired up. So
From
essentially,
Eastlink?
yeah, so essentially,
There's no way they're gonna go forward without a lot of federal and municipal funding.
they're all the low hanging fruits along the blocks, essentially.
And I will not be here on October 1st, because we're going to be away for 3-4 weeks.
October first?
The bottom line.
Won't be here on the 9th, Linda's taking me forward.
Taking what?
Taking me to Florida.
Florida, man, it'd be awfully hot down.
I have a question, I guess maybe for Jeff, but on the log report, I see Alnor, like numerous calls, like any headway being made, or is it just noted every time it's called?
Nope, we're not, well, I guess headway is a hard one in that situation, right? So
Yeah.
we deal with that individual on a couple of accounts, normally through waste check and through dog bylaw. Normally there is a flare up in relations between the two properties involved. It triggers a high concentration of calls to anyone over a couple of days. Our last round of dealing with those, we haven't heard from them in about a month. I guess that's all. I think there was some other action going on in August with some court matters relating to the driving issue between the two properties.
Okay, no, it just seemed to be consistent.
Yep. No, he had. There was a stretch. No, he was in to see us a couple times here, and he was very active there for a couple days.
Any other questions? With the airport dispatch, it's good to see that, Tagan has joined their services. But in the Hectanuga, it said, it's going to come online, what was it today? Yeah, today.
Wow.
But the question I have is, what is our capacity for taking on others?
We can take on, if you were to divide what's left into two groups, being the town of Yarmouth, and then that'd be one group, and then there's what's left in Argyle and what's left in the municipality of Yarmouth. We can do one or the other. We can't take both. And the dispatch supervisor was down last week to have a meeting with the municipality of Art. The municipalities are trying to coordinate on behalf of their fire department, so they coordinated a meeting and brought the fire chiefs in for a meeting with Bruce last week. They have some concerns on off-site dispatching or non-localized dispatching. They've just had the same service in the Yarmouth area for a long time, so they had a meeting last week. So we're waiting to hear from them. We've had preliminary inquiries from the town of Yarmouth as well. It's been identified to all parties involved, even Matagan and Hectanuga right through. It's a first come, first served basis that they knew there was limitations. Both Bruce and Scotia Business, the other dispatch company on the South Shore, have been involved and kind of let everybody know from the beginning there was too much. Scotia couldn't take everybody, and we can't take everybody. Even if we were to pick up everybody but the town of Yarmouth, there's likely going to be shifts, especially through spring grass fire season, and some of those where you would see us have two dispatchers on certain times of day for higher volume times. But that's Bruce has a good handle on that with the call volumes. And everyone has been aware. I still would suggest, with how slow these last two groups have been in making their decision, we are still heading towards a log jam of first come, first serve. The town of Yarmouth is keeping their cards very close to their chest on whether they are working on an alternative or whether they are looking at coming this way.
Did we get all of Clarinet?
Let's say that again?
We've got Littlebrook. I'm trying to think if there'd be.
We always had a little.
Yeah, we've always had Littlebrook and St. Bernard.
And we had back on the line there. But,
Well, that's
no, not that, but.
There's another one, there's a third one.
Havelock.
Yeah, Havelock.
We voted on that.
So that's, I'm not sure if there's another one in Clare below that or not.
Salmon River, is Salmon River?
Well, the Salmon River.
Salmon River.
Is that Claire or is that Yarmouth?
Salmon River is.
That might be shared. There's one that's shared that I think has been working with Greg Shea is kind of trying to organize the Yarmouth in area ones from down there.
Well, there's department in Salmon River, well, there's Metaig, and then there's Salmon River, and then there's Port Maitland, and then you go into Yarmouth. So it's for departments on the main drag, you go back inland, and I don't really know where they all are, but I know there's a few small ones back on the 340.
Yeah, Bruce had figured on having most of the Clare ones first. It was kind of the way he got, no one wanted to be the first one to go, but there's just been so little information coming out that finally Metagan and Hector-Newgate just said we've got to be comfortable with what we're doing, and they didn't want to be left out.
One of the reasons why I brought this up is because when they had that fire in Weymouth, every department from Metagan to Bear River was there. There was 11 fire departments there. 11. I had a chance to talk to the fire chief from Weymouth last week. Roy Mullen stopped in to see me, and I thanked him and commended him and his fire department for the work that they did, because as far as I'm concerned, they saved. I mean, we lost two buildings, two iconic buildings in the community, but we could have lost everything on that side of the river.
Yeah.
That's like those sides.
Well, he told me when they got there, he showed me pictures that I hadn't seen. He showed me how when they got there, they didn't even put a hose on the fire. They put their hoses on the Goodwin Hotel. Because that other fire was so far gone, there was no way they could do anything, so they were just trying to save.
It was good.
In that building down next to us, Michelle Dosey has it.
They put water, like, Weymouth put their water on the Goodwin first, and when other departments got there, then they did the other stuff, and then they started out on the fire. But he also told me he felt that there was they feel that there was, it wasn't something that was totally set, but I don't know if they could prove that or not, but it's just that the building had, from what, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but someone told me that they didn't have any power there.
I had heard that it wasn't power.
Right.
In the first building, there was no power, and the second building was less.
Which second building?
And we do transfer.
Yeah, there was two apartments in there, but there was two people living there, one upstairs and one downstairs.
They had power in the other building.
Right, but where the fire started, there was no
But
power.
the other building.
Right, so.
Yeah, that's not suspicious.
Anyway, as a council, I'd like for us to write a letter commending the fire department and all the departments that helped.
That's fine, and I think it's wonderful, but you know what? I think our dispatch, they went under, I was gonna say, we read that the things that burned off and they had to do, our dispatch deserves a letter of congratulations, okay?
I was gonna bring that up next week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was talking to Roy about the dispatch.
Mm-hmm.
Roy was very, he had some really kind words for the dispatcher that was on duty, the spare dispatcher that was working that night. And he said he handled everything just perfect, and he commended the guy for what he did. And I do want us to, actually, from council, send a letter of congratulations to him for his duties, and he went,
Would it be accommodations or
accommodations, whatever,
Okay.
but really to recognize his efforts and what he did that night.
It also did the show that we, noticed their successes and how well they're
Well,
He was a new dispatcher. as
Yeah,
well.
One of our
I mean,
newest spares.
Even
I
those
don't think he'd have a full year under his belt.
Sounds like he did great though.
so I'd like to make a motion, I'd like to have a motion made that we could commend our
Okay,
dispatcher.
I would so move that we send a letter to the dispatcher and the dispatch department in general for all the excellent work they have done. So that's my first motion.
Second, on favor?
Aye.
And my second is that we write to the 11 fire departments, thanking them for their help and how well they have been
Saving the community, really.
the whole,
Do we know which ones, can I get a list, do we know which ones for this guy?
we dispatch would have done.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
every department from the Hagan to Veteran River was 11. Thank you. I just wanted to bring that up because,
I have something in my CAO report. Just at the beginning, it's a follow-up from the joint council meeting we had in May. And from that direction was to set up a meeting with the Department of Justice to talk about the RCMP complement and I think there was some discussion that even before that meeting took place that the warden and I would meet with the mayor and the CAO to have those meetings, but hasn't been able to coordinate that, so.
A lot of
I talked to Linda about this last week. We can't have a meeting right away with the town, and I think we're gonna just ask to have a meeting with the Department of Justice ourselves. Because we've got our issues
Yeah.
that we wanna deal with, and we've asked the town.
Mm-hmm.
We've had lots of time to have this meeting take place, and it hasn't happened.
And the year ends in March before you know it, and there's a lot of planning for that, you know? It's just not just something you wanna throw on them.
So we're gonna be working on this right away, so.
Unless it wants to 2-3 years doing something that should only take a few months.
So the Department of Justice had been very open to meeting, it's just that we never come up with a date. So we will meet as a council.
Mhm.
So I
Well,
think
what do
the
you think?
original meeting,
Just not on Thanksgiving, you.
no, I think the original motion was that it was just the warden and the
It
CAO.
was.
At this point.
And the mayor and the
we should all-
CAO. You want to have it with all council?
Oh, well, council, if we're gonna do it on our own, we're gonna have all council, if we're gonna do it jointly with the town, we may have to go to Halifax to meet with the Department of Justice, and then I can go up and Ben and Tom.
Yeah.
But if we're not gonna be able to take that approach, and we're gonna do it on our, individually, then we'll ask them to come down here and meet with all council.
We'll start preparing things.
Well, I think what I'll do is maybe at our next bylaw and policy, we'll have a discussion about this, because what we were trying to do with the town is to have a united message.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to be clear from what our message is going to be, so just make a note that a bylaw and policy, we'll talk about it first. Again.
I recently saw a scientific article on, what's it, Colorado, what's the other one? Portland? I can't remember. The two states that legalized it, they've had, they're also the two states with the fastest increase in, case going from beginning to end. They had 10%, both of them did higher than any other state in the union. 10% increase on reduction in speed of getting things through the court system. And the court system's super congested. Plus 20 years ago, it was even more than that. So another thing to the argument on less policing.
Okay, we're gonna move on. Is there any other questions for any of the department reports? Okay.
Busy guys, I'll say that.
There's nothing under danger zone slightly for tonight. Next is 2017-18 King's Transit operating deficit for Digby.
Yes. So I think this is another agenda item for bylaw and policy to talk about in depth, but what I wanted to bring forward was that I had an email from
I saw anything
No.
with doing.
All right, no, I had sent out,
Is this a package?
no, there's no,
We changed the last meeting to Monday. I couldn't attend.
so the financial statements for 17-18 have resulted in the fact that our run has a $58,000 deficit. So when you factor that in with the deficit that we were repaying from last year, and so I just wanted to bring council's attention to the fact that there may be a request for council this time that we may have to adjust our budget. So if we have to pay back the $58,000, usually if there's a deficit, we pay back in the next budget. Now, when I speak about the budget, like we received the budget from Stephen Foster back in, well, before in June, before June, when we were doing the budget. I have been advised that the board had never approved that budget.
We did, and it didn't pass that.
Why do you do that?
So
That's cool.
That's legal stuff then.
Jeff and I are actually, have a meeting with the manager this week. He's coming down to review the deficit and the budget. So when you factor in, like what I budgeted, and there is a bit of a discrepancy, about $6,000, like Stephen had sent us two budgets, one before the deficit was factored in and after. Unfortunately, when I put it in, I put the one before, so we were about $6,000. But our budget this year is $195,000. So then if you add in, like what the difference they're saying is about another $9,500 plus the $58,000. So we're going to have to, if we have to cover that this year in this fiscal, I'm going to have a motion from council to allow that overage to happen, because I can't take it from anywhere else. So the total hit to this budget could be $83,000.
Extra, that's a lot.
Because there was about $17,000 from the year before, and then they had agreed that from last year's budget, they split it in half. So, but what we realized is they never did invoice us, so we had never paid that. So we owe for the $9,000 from last year, from 16-17, and $9,000 this year from 16-17, plus now the 58, plus the difference in the agenda. So, or in the budget. So from my understanding is they were meeting with other councils to go around and try to, but as I said, I mean, every council has long passed their budget. You can't wait till September or August to approve a budget, so. We're in camera to talk about it further, yeah.
So Linda, any idea like why, like has it been low ridership or, breakdowns
Or
or?
us
Well,
getting a second bus? Is that what you're thinking?
Combination, I think, the ridership has been decreasing. It was probably about 7,000 less in revenue than they expected. I think the real kick was the repairs to the old bus, like our first bus. Like, we had budgeted, I think, 46,000, and it came in at 78,000. And none of those, I asked the question, none of those repairs are considered capital repairs. That's how we had 30,000 taken off the deficit from the year before. So we're running pretty regularly now with a fairly hefty deficit every year.
The concerning part about that is, when they knew that they were gonna be over budget, they didn't even contact us to tell us this. And I mean, that should have been, they shouldn't have gone forward with the work until they knew, and until we were at least informed.
Oh, you didn't hear before.
Yeah.
Well, just last year.
Just last year.
Yeah, but we didn't make that quite clear that they were supposed to.
But I'm saying they didn't, and that's where I'm very concerned about what's going on. So anyway, we're gonna talk more about it on camera.
But some of that was on our new bus too, but I was under the impression that that was warranty work.
Must have been under
But see,
warranty.
because they were doing that warranty work, I mean, there's been extra pressure on our old bus too, so I don't know but this year, the budget he's provided me, they're still only budgeting 47,000 for repairs, so I'm not sure how that's gonna work. Anyway,
We're gonna get rid of the police and
Good news.
for us.
So we're gonna move on next to the Weymouth Falls Community Center exemption from property taxes request.
so we have received a request from on behalf of the Weymouth Community Center. They were gifted, the community was gifted these two pieces of property, and I guess there was a issue between old members of the society and the new members, but anyway, now they want to come forward and ask for a tax exemption. So basically, is just a recommendation to council. I think the amounts aren't very much.
It's under $190, two persons.
Yeah, per year, so.
So are these two properties like next to each other? I know we have the Weymouth Falls Community Center.
I can't answer, I don't know. The pins are very close, I don't know if that has anything, they're both on the Weymouth Falls Road.
He said that,
The little boxing club that they have, that's the community hall, right?
They had,
because they're expanding, they're gonna be using that property.
Is that where the little boxing gym was? Okay. Yeah, don't mind a couple things.
So.
They already have some properties that the hall itself has been, I think, on our list for quite a while. This is land that was gifted to them.
I still recommend to council the first reading of an amendment to Schedule A of the tax exemption bylaw, number 2000-02, to add the following properties in Schedule A. Assessment account number 1059271 and number 1059278 for the Weymouth Falls Community Center.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. That is all the business items we've had. The next is we have two pieces of correspondence. One that came in from the municipality of Barrington. It's a letter pertaining to the offshore oil and exploration gas exploration. Looking three of those letters now, one from Shelburne, one from Barrington, and one from Galen and Queens, I'm not sure. But it's all, they're getting same response back from every letter, getting the same response back from this group. Is there anything anybody wants to comment on, or?
As I seen the BP, did some drilling, and if you know anything about oil, that's why I'm not an expert, but. Like a corkscrew,
drilling in
when
marginal
they got
area.
it up, some oil came up with the mud, I mean, it's not an oil spill, but I guess this group kind of thinks it is, but.
But it can be, and that's the problem, and it can ruin not only, it's the whole, not only Canada, don't ruin the States too. Because you're talking Georgia's, good little spring, it's gonna go into the American side, it's going to be the
They
Canadian.
didn't have to do anything, it's just a copy.
And in the past, they've spoken of where they're drilling, and it's right on the edge of what technology can do. It's, it is a risky thing. Maybe we should look into it a little more.
Well, it's correspondence to us right now, and
No,
I think if there's a request from the council to ask us to do something later on, then we can look at it.
Okay.
But we haven't been asked that, this has just been given us to us for information on what's taking place.
and also at the same time, everybody sure loves driving the cars. They sure love that, but also I don't want, still for we'd be done, that'd be it.
And the next piece of correspondence with a thank you from the Digby County Exhibition for the contributions they make towards the events that they have there.
Right on, thank you.
And, I mean,
No,
I didn't change.
I thought they're really trying.
Yeah, I know. The problem is that there's not as many people involved in that, and it's dwindling away, and most of the people that are older, that are involved, and there's very few young people involved, so I don't know how they're gonna do going forward in the next 10 years.
That's every single organization and activity that's going on in this county. Demographics.
39 years.
You should try to get 70-year-olds, not trying to get 80-year-olds.
Okay, that's it for that, so the next is we're gonna do